What's going on, Consciouz Crew? It is your favorite breakdown commentator, CTV. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. You guys see what we're here to get into on this God-given Sabbath, all right? But before we get into the things that you see here in this exclusive title, I want you guys to go ahead and thumbs up the video and make sure that they are absolutely stuck. You guys know that thumbing up the video not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you thumbs up or like a video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Consciouz Crew member and telling them to get their arses into the sanctuary, because the king is indeed King. Also, shout out to all of the new subbies. Make sure that all of you guys have your notification bell set to all. And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your BGC, your Facebook, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you lay the link. Just let them whores know the real loud, live, and in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, Consciouz Crew? Let me go ahead and speak to you guys in the sanctuary before we get started. What's going on, Sabian? Hey, Shauna. What's going on, Dedra? Hey, Bo. What's going on, Sherry? Hey, Gemini. Hey, Ladaya. Hey, Lynn. What's going on, Remy? Hi. Hey, Tanika. Hey, Carolyn. What's going on, Lady Prophetess? Hey, Boo. Hey, Adora. Hey, K-Shay. Hey, Renee. What's going on, VS Speaks? Hey, Sabby. What's going on, everybody? Hey, Karen. Hey, Monica. Hey, y'all. Can y'all hear me great? Give me a 1 if you guys can hear me just fine. What's going on, Rena? Hey, boo. If you guys can hear me just fine, give me a nasty piece of one. Want to make sure that the audios are strizzle. Thank you, Rena. I said, you know what? Let me go kind of simple. It's a nice day in Alabama, at least where I am in the countryside of Alabama. So, you know, I just got on nasty denim, a little tankety top, kind of a crop top, really. Okay. And I got on some drop crotch pants, which are my favorite casual pants to walk around in. They are incredibly stylish yet comfortable, and they're practical. You can do anything in them. You can work out, you can run your errands, so you can look like a bad bitch. It's just, you know, whatever you want to give for the day, you can give. Okay. Then I got on my FU slippers that you all love. I'll probably take a little picture and post it to Instagram, where you all also should be following me because I post content on there as well. Now, I know you guys are also saying that you enjoy the reels and the shorts and everything. So there's going to be a lot more shorts. I have another hair short coming for you guys, so be looking out for that. Matter of fact, I should have some hair outside in the mailbox like right now that came express. So be looking for another, you know, little 1-2 on the reels. Okay, glad you guys are enjoying those. And yes, we are going to be getting into Miss Onika, girl. There is a lot of drama that has been playing out ever since Megan Thee Stallion's His Diss record. Okay, it was going down all last night, bleeding over into the wee hours of the morning. And Miss Onika, you know, finally found a producer to clear one of those 6-year-old beats she got, girl. So we will be here to review her rebuttal. This live stream, where we're going to be getting into those things, is going to be a bit of a drag and a roast, girl. We got to get into Miss Ruby Rose. We got to get into Miss Akbar, girl. I'm going to be dragging down boots, okay? So y'all be ready. But here we have an exclusive interview, okay? A beautiful young woman who is a Consciouz Crew member, also has been very adjacent to one of the suspects in the infamous 2022 church robbery of y'all's favorite bishop, Bishop Shamar Whitehead, okay? Now, I first came into contact with Miss Johnson when she commented on my Instagram reel, okay, where I spoke about the third suspect being unalived by U.S. Marshals, etc. And this is what she wrote under my post, okay? Just giving you guys a bit of an origin story, girl, okay? This is what makes social media so fascinating, is because you never know who's watching. You never know who's following you. You never know who's a Consciouz Crew member, okay? So I was shocked, you know, that Miss Johnson was also a Consciouz Crew member. This is wild, okay? So this is Miss Johnson's comments here. And she says, hey, Consciouz, this young man, Mr. Shamar, was a client of mine when he came home from prison in 2022. He was on parole and got off parole shortly after. To be honest, I thought he was on the right track, but I hadn't seen him since, okay? So, of course, I had to immediately jump into Mrs. Johnson's DMs, girl, and invite her onto the platform to discuss her experience, her thoughts. And we're going to just talk to her. I'm going to let her unpack for you guys who she is, what she does. And then we're going to just get into the thing. So with no further ado, hi, Miss Johnson.
Hi, how are you? Hi, Consciouz Crew.
Hi. I am so happy to have you here. I'm so glad that you reached out. I had no idea that you had been sitting here the entire time and had been following the platform and had been following the story, etc. So can you tell me a little bit about how you came into contact with my platform, and then a little bit about what you do?
So I'm formerly a case manager with the Brooklyn DA office, and with the reentry office, and you know, I've been helping people for a while, and it's funny because when you first started covering it, I had this information. But I was like, well, maybe I don't want to, you know, put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, when he was unalived, I was like, wow, like I was a little sad,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um
So can you tell us a little bit about what does a case manager do regarding reentry for the DA?
So what we do is we are like a one-stop shop. We are a
Mhm.
resource center. So when parolees or probationers they come home, what happens is they get referred to us either by their parole officers, and what we try to do is we try to meet their mandates. Um, so like say if especially if because part of their mandate is for them to be employed. So we do offer like job trainings and we get them
Mhm.
employment. And like say if they have substance abuse issues or they need housing. So we try to provide them those resources for them. And we
Okay,
try,
wow.
try to guide them through and because the
Yeah.
thing is we want to make the Brooklyn community safer, but
Mhm.
we also want to offer them the resources to turn their life around and make better choices. So yeah, Brooklyn DA, shout out to them. They are reentry bureau. They do their thing.
They do their thing. Okay, so you sound like so what y'all do is a lot like what a social worker
Yeah.
does in terms of helping the client to get on their feet, etc.,
Right.
find them resources, etc. Okay, great. How long have you been in that field?
So wow, I've been probably maybe 20 years. I think this is probably my 21st year. Yes, I've been doing it for a while. I started out with mental health, and now then I switched over to criminal justice, and now I'm
Mhm.
doing case management with it's a company called NADAP, and they helping formerly persons that's on public assistance to get employment.
Mhm.
So I've been doing that for a while.
Wow. Great, great, great work, Mrs. Johnson.
Thank
Wow.
you.
So when you transition over to the criminal aspect or unit of this, was that by choice? And how have you enjoyed that compared to the other areas?
Well, actually, I enjoyed it all, but it was by choice because I was working in nonprofit. I worked in nonprofit for like 14 years, and then I came over to the city, and I did that. I was with the DAs for like 4 years and about 7 months. So that's when I had my encounter with Mr. Shamar.
Okay, so tell us about this encounter. When did you first come into contact with Mr. Shamar? And what was your experience of him like, just as an individual?
So I think it was late 21 and early 22 that he was put on my caseload. And when he came into my office, he was very charming, very charismatic, very respectful young man.
Mhm.
His thing was, I always ask when they come home, I'm like, are you tired of being tired? Like you didn't give your life to the system for so many years, or you trying to turn your life around. And he was like, yeah, like, he wanted to he wanted to have his own business. Matter of fact, he said he had his own business because the thing we was offering him was, employment and other programs, and I even had given him some resources that you can like do like a business boot camp. And so he was like, yeah, like I want to do this, Miss Johnson. So I'm like, okay, good. So, like I said, very charming, very
Mhm.
respectful, I didn't, I'm thinking you here because you want to change your life, no
Right.
judgment. That's the one thing that we don't do. We don't judge.
Mhm.
Whatever your past is, that's your past. If you're here now, you're here for help. That's what we want to do.
Now, what did you understand about his past? Because I know it's been like speculated in terms of, I know he's been arrested prior, I believe, for murder.
Mm-hmm.
I think also for robbery
Mm-hmm.
as well, that he had allegedly also robbed another high profile individual who happened to be an athlete apparently. Um, is that what you understood about what
Yeah,
space he was coming out of?
because that's when we get cases, we get their criminal background, so we kind
Yeah.
of know, whatever is in there, we
Hmm.
know, but like I said, no judgment, but he was there to get help,
Yeah.
so
Now, was Shamar married? Did he have kids?
um I don't think he was married. I'm not sure about kids. He never really discussed it, and I don't think that
Hmm.
was like in his records. Like, cause we get the criminal stuff. We don't get like the,
The
the
interpersonal.
yeah.
Yeah.
We don't get too much of that.
Yeah.
It's whatever they tell us.
Okay, so you had a package for him, and I know you
Mhm.
talked about a business boot camp. So Did he have a business of his own, or he was looking to go into business for himself?
Well, that's what he said that he had. Well, he was trying to get something off the ground, and
Okay.
then he had sent me some pictures of like a recycling like business that I assumed that it was his because he
Yeah.
sent me pictures. He was like, Miss Johnson, this is what I'm doing. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, so you're employed then? He's like, yeah, you're employed. I'm working in this. I was like, okay, and then I hadn't like he kind of like dropped off the face of the earth. Like I didn't see him. So I wound up closing his case probably maybe February, March.
Now, is that something that y'all do like when y'all haven't heard back from a client after a while, or?
Well, we try to keep, well, at the time we were trying to keep up with them to at least 90 days. So I'll reach out to the parole officer, reach out, and to see like had they seen him or what's going on, because we try to make sure that we follow up with them, as far as we can. But I know we can't follow up if we don't get no feedback. So we I hadn't seen him. So when he was named as a suspect, I'm like, wait a minute. Is that, I said, Legette, that sounds familiar. So the next day I actually went to work and I'm looking at his file. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my client. I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's maybe why I wasn't seeing him, because maybe he was still out here doing the BS. Like, oh boy. So I was a little disappointed with that.
Yeah. So talk to me about that. I mean, I could only imagine how shocked you were to have gone from, helping Mr. Is it, how you pronounce his last name?
Legette.
Yeah. Mr. Leggette. And he's getting on his feet, he's trying to get his starter business going, and then kaboom, his face is all over the internet, it's all over the news cycle. He's involved in, the robbery out of all places, a church. I mean, what were your all immediate thoughts? I mean, I know your mouth was on the desk.
Yeah, it was definitely on the desk. I was really shocked. I'm like, wow, I'm thinking he's getting his life together. Like, that's the impression that he gave me.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I said, so this is what he was doing. So yeah, I was very disappointed, but
yeah,
I know it's like I said, when they come home, and I ask them questions like, you're tired of doing this, so, and I've helped other guys that's been in prison 25, 30 years, and they come out and they focus. They call me before I can call them, because they like, I'm tired and I'm going to do this right. So, to hear that, and so I was like, I was very shocked.
Wow. Yeah. Quick segue, super quick, you guys. I meant to say this in the beginning, but my moderators, I pretty much unmodded probably 95% of the mods because something weird happened on my platform about 2 days ago. So I'm getting to the bottom of it. Once I'm to the bottom of it, everything will resume back to normal. So I just wanted to let all of my mods, if y'all enter the stream and you don't see a blue about your name, it's not personal. There's just something I'm trying to get to the bottom of. I love y'all a long time. Hey, Tyruse, everybody. So, all right. So this is wild. Now, I'm sure that once you kind of dug into the details of what was happening, what was going on with Mr. Leggette, that you saw that this was connected to Bishop Shamar Whitehead. Now, apparently, Bishop Whitehead also has a pretty big reputation in the New York, New Jersey area. Had you heard about Bishop Whitehead prior to working with Mr. Leggette?
Actually, I didn't.
Wow. Okay.
When you started covering it, and I was like, okay, this is Mr. Whitehead. Okay, this is Bishop Whitehead. But no, I didn't. I hadn't heard of him or seen him. So
that's interesting because he speaks a lot about what he's done for the city, and he's connected to the mayor of New York, Mr. Eric Adams, etc. So I guess his reputation ain't reputating at that level. Interesting. Now, what were your thoughts? Like, I'm sure, like, once you saw the footage and you saw kind of the play-by-play of how they did this, did this robbery, what were your thoughts about the robbery itself? This happened in broad daylight. They just casually ran into the church, knowing he was live streaming, did all of this so publicly. the other two young men who were a part of the heist obviously have been arrested and have been arraigned since and have also pled guilty and will be facing sentencing very soon. But what were your initial thoughts about the robbery? Like, was this a bizarre set of circumstances, or
not only bizarre, but I was like, these dudes are bold. Like, how you just go into a church, the house of the Lord, you just gonna rob? I'm like, yeah, I thought, I was like, that's bold. And I was like, maybe he really had something that they really wanted, because they was like, I don't care, I'm just gonna go in and do what we need to do.
Yeah. Well, apparently, what they went in there to do was to rip off $1 million worth of jewels off him and his wife's neck.
Yeah.
$1 million worth of jewels. Do you think it's appropriate for a pastor to be wearing that much jewelry to church?
I mean, if you just going to give a message about the Lord, I don't see why you need to have all that jewelry on. I mean, but to each his own. I mean, no judgment, but if it was me, no, I wouldn't do it. But
Yeah. Like, no.
No.
Would you have attended Whitehead's church?
No.
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 Okay. Not really your cup of tea, per se. Wow. So he's on the loose at this point. He's the suspect in question. And apparently, Mr. Leggette was also the mastermind of this entire heist, etc. So fast forward, there's news that breaks. Yeah, I'm having a connection issue with something going on. Can you hear me just fine?
I can hear you.
Okay. I know that Deborah's having some audio issues. Can anybody else hear me just fine in the comment section? Give me a 1 if you guys can hear me. There is some connection issues. I don't know where they're coming from on this faithful Sunday. Let me see here. Okay. All right, we're back. Okay, everybody can hear me just fine. Okay, so Deborah, it's just your partial payment to Boost Mobile, boo. Okay, that's it, darling. Okay, I done told y'all about them partial payments before. So now, fast forward, you get, the shock of your life that one of your clients now is on the run, has been involved in this heist regarding a church. And then fast forward from there, the news breaks that he has been fatally shot down by U.S. Marshals outside of a hotel. What was that news like?
Yeah, I was sad about that. I'm like, wow, like that didn't have to end like that. Yeah, that was sad. I actually, like I said, I called my coworkers, one of my colleagues from the DA's office. Now I had to process it with her. I'm like, wow, this is so sad. Like, wow, like that was just senseless. He didn't have to pass away like that.
So I was just going to ask you, like, what was the chatter like amongst the workplace since he was connected to the workplace?
Because I haven't worked for them. Like I left them in April of 23. So I didn't
okay.
When I guess when we first heard about it, we was a little shocked, and when him being a suspect, but nothing really, just he was on a run, but nothing, we didn't really kind of talk about it really.
Yeah. And you was already gone by the time the news came out.
Yeah.
So I had stated in a previous live stream that Mr. Leggette obviously had to have some type of a death wish, because according to the reports, he was the one who opened fire on U.S. Marshals after they were tipped off of his whereabouts. And he came out of the hotel, guns blazing, literally. So they responded with fire.
Right.
And that fire is what led to his death. What do you make of that? I would only imagine that this man had no interest of going back to prison, that he also probably knew this would be it, because he would be a repeat offender in the system. Obviously, they would be harder on sentencing. and it is wild that he came out guns blazing. I haven't heard of a situation like that in a very long time. What do you make of his actions? Do you think he intended to die? Do you think he actually thought he would survive something like that? I can't imagine that he believed that he would.
Maybe in some part of his mind, maybe he thought, maybe let me just shoot it out. But I don't know. I don't, sometimes I guess when you're in those situations, you don't think things through. Like, and it's probably, him going back to prison was probably in the front of his mind. He's like, I ain't going back. So I'm just going to try to thug this out. Like you said, the movie set it off with Queen Latifah. Yeah, that was his mindset, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, with the type of services and work that you do y'all offer like mental health services too? If a client is struggling?
Yes, it was from the rooter to the tutor. So whatever, substance abuse, mental health, housing, they need Medicaid, healthcare, food stamps. We offer all of that.
All of that. Wow. And had he had he spoken about suffering from any type of PTSD or depression or any type of trauma or anything, or that he was finding it hard to transition from life behind bars to life?
No, he didn't really talk about that. I met with him maybe twice. And then he was like I'm on my feet, I got this business. So he didn't come back, to get the services that, and he might have been suffering from that, because most of the time they suffer, from the trauma and stuff. So I definitely understand that. But he never talked about that.
Wow. And he never utilized any of the services.
Right.
Wow. That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah, but like I said, he was very, very respectful, very charismatic, very charming, very polite,
Yeah.
So, I didn't get any, I just thought, he's here to get help, and he's turned his life around. And so that was my hope for him.
Yeah. Now, since his passing, the bishop in question has went to the scene of the crime. Matter of fact, I'm going to pull some of this up now. He's also let it be known that he's willing to eulogize this man's funeral, and that he wants to meet the family, and he wants to tell them that he forgives Mr. Leggette. I find this type of behavior to be very weird and off-putting, but I'm going to share my screen here, and we can both take a look at this, and I can get your thoughts on it. Make sure you guys are thumbing up the video, everyone. Please share. Okay, this is Mr. Shamar Whitehead, who is at the scene of where the robber was unalived. So let me go ahead and switch my microphone over so you guys can hear this straight from them.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? How you doing? How y'all doing? You all right? Yeah. Yeah.
No matter what he's done or whatever, I don't want to see somebody get killed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Wow. So you were here with who?
My daughter.
Your daughter? Okay. All right.
She's not here right now.
Yeah. And you said they were staying here for some time?
Yes, from what I saw, because I mean, whenever I saw them, I just said hello, you know, and that was it. She seemed nice, you know, so you know what I'm saying. I say hello to everybody, so that's just how I am, you know. I'm a friendly person, so.
Yeah. I'm gonna come back on live, y'all. Give me a few minutes. I want to talk to the lady that was next door.
Yeah, so.
So he is speaking to another resident. Hold on, let me switch over to my microphone. So he went to the scene of the hotel, spoke to one of the residents who was living next door to Shamar and the young lady that occupied him in that space. And she's still visibly shooken. I mean, he's walking around as if he's in an art museum. What do you think about this man wanting to eulogize this man's funeral, going to the scene of the crime, talking to neighbors, etc.? You know, he was victimized by this man. But what do you think his motivations are?
I don't know. Maybe he wants to appear a certain way, but I'm trying to figure out. You're going to eulogize him. What are you going to say? Like that doesn't make any sense. That's weird. No, I don't know. That's totally weird. What are you going to say? Here goes lies the dude that robbed me, and I don't know. That's weird.
That's exactly what he would say. It would be a narcissistic eulogy. Yeah. This is the guy that robbed me. I'm here to just let you guys know that I forgive this young man for robbing a younger black man who was just trying to do the best he could for his wife and his community. You know, I'm just out here trying to do the right thing for God. And, you know, because I'm a real man of God, you know, I have it in my heart to, you know, forgive this man. And, you know, I'm powerful enough to, you know, atone on behalf of his sins to make sure he has a successful interest into heaven. You know, I died on a cross for this man. Like this would be his eulogy before the church. I mean, a hot mess. Now, what's crazy about, or I should say synchronistic about him being at the scene of this hotel where Mr. Leggette was, you know, where his life was taken, is that he's controversially also been involved in other situations, apparently, in New York, where he has inserted himself into open cases. There was a case a few years ago regarding a man who was mentally ill who had took the life of another New Yorker. And the DA and police were trying to lock this man down, trying to find him in the city. And upon them trying to make an arrest, Mr. Whitehead here inserted himself, wanted to do a whole photo op with this man, wanted to go down and try to negotiate with the man, have him come to his church, take a picture with him and Eric Adams, and then hand him off to police. Him and the attorney of the man who was in question totally got into it because she felt outraged that he would just insert himself as a citizen into a very like high risk situation because this man was still armed and dangerous, and you are escalating and unnecessarily inserting yourself, which could cause more casualties because you're inexperienced for one. You don't have any authority to get yourself involved here in this way, and you should leave this to the deputies and the people who are trained to de-escalate these type of situations. And here it was, he was trying to make a whole movie out of this thing. Him and the attorney got into it. He called her a bitch. It was a whole mess. And now here it is, he's capitalizing off the death of this man. I mean, you can see it in his face. He's all smiles walking through this hotel, which is a stark contrast from the previous live streams that he was doing, acting like he was so sad and in grief for this man and that he lost his life. And this is such an unfortunate loss of life. You didn't see one tear in that life. He's literally he got the giddiness in his eyeballs. Like he's so excited to once again have an opportunity to be thrusted back into the news cycle. It's just so numbing and unnerving. It's just weird, Miss Johnson.
No, it's weird. It's very weird. I don't know. I have no idea.
I hope that Mr. Whitehead gets the help he needs. He obviously has a void. He didn't get enough attention as a young boy. And it's just so unfortunately that these are the type of 15 minutes that he feels like he has to cling to in order to be relevant and to be significant. So now that Mr. Whitehead has entered into your stratosphere with him coming onto the scene with this whole robbery situation, I'm not sure if you are aware, but he's also going to be facing trial next month and fighting for his life, you know, for all type of fraud charges, extortion, etc. As somebody who works adjacent to the criminal justice system, I don't know how much you know about his case, but do you have any predictions about how you believe trial would turn out for him? Do you believe that they will find him guilty? Because he's also a repeat offender. He's been arrested. He's had to pay restitution in the past. He's scammed people out of their social security numbers, allegedly, etc. You know, he's done time for these type of charges. Do you feel that the DA are going to really slam him? Because I heard that you guys have a very high. That's great.
Yeah, he's going to jail.
Oh,
he's going to jail.
Wow.
He's going down.
Wow.
Yeah, he's going to jail.
Jesus, he's going to jail.
He going. You know, like I don't know a lot about the case, but it's just when you out here doing people dirty, that's going to come back to you. It's everything is not everybody else's fault. You have to look at yourself in the mirror. So, dude, you the common denominator in all of your mess. So if you're out here doing dirty, it's going to come back to you.
It's going to come back to you. Wow. Okay. Well, I'm going to be covering that trial. All right. Do you have any plans, since you're in the area, do you have any plans of going down there live and in color and sitting in for some of these court sessions?
No, I won't.
No.
I will not be participating in that.
You period. Okay, so let me I'm going to see if anybody has any questions. Anybody in the chat have any questions for Miss Johnson? We can read some of the comments here. The narc detective says, how did Whitehead come to the conclusion that Shamar put the GUN in the face of the family? It's not listed on the docket. They wore masks, right? He doesn't know. That's the gag. You know, it's all conjecture. The chosen one says, I have a feeling that the third robber left a verbal confession of how the ordeal played out. So that's an interesting thing. Do you think that Shamar gave his side of events to anybody? Maybe even the young woman that he was last seen with? Do you think that he confessed to anybody?
Maybe he did. I mean, they were saying that he was the mastermind. Yeah. I mean, listen, like I said, he was very charming, very charismatic. You know, he seemed like, and I forgot to mention, he seemed very intelligent. Maybe he could have masterminded the whole thing. And it's funny because the other two people, like the last names are familiar to me too. Like I was like, so I don't know. They might have been, you know, on parole or probation, and you know.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So they may have come across your desk as well at some point.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. The Juice Radio and Talk, Hey Boo, says that Whitehead can put everyone else's business in the news circuit, but he won't run his own news. Absolutely. Sapan says Whitehead just plastered this man's face all over his social media, asking if anyone has seen him and was mad. Now that he's gone, he forgives him. Hashtag right.
Exactly.
Purple Lover says this is the behavior of people who don't feel worthy, along with a Scarcity mindset. Absolutely. Sean says, it just makes me think he has something to do with it, like the scary mastermind behind the scene. And it's a play on he's the real villain behind all of this. So there's a lot of people who believe that, and I also said this in a previous live as well, that, you know, it's unfortunate that Mr. Leggette's life had to be claimed the way that it was, because he also had a lot of key information about this whole ordeal. And, you know, it's no telling what he might have been holding on to, what information, you know, because a lot of people have speculated that Whitehead has been involved with this situation, that this was an attempt at insurance fraud to stage, you know, the robbery of all of this insured jury, apparently, etc. There was a lot of conspiracies that was going around, but now that he's not here, it only leaves us with the other two suspects. And it's going to be interesting to also hear from them what has all happened here, and if they connect Whitehead to this whole thing, because they've also taken plea deals and then backtracked and challenged those plea deals and then came back. So there's been a lot of goings on,
right?
But, you know, in the case itself. So yeah, well, I want to thank you for being here. If there's anything else that you would like to share before we biggity bounce up out of here, you are more than welcome to.
Yeah. So I know my daughter may be listening. So what I, you know, in the near future want to be able to bring a podcast, you know, kind of to the platform, just, you know, speaking about lupus and speaking about RA and speaking about, you know, autoimmune diseases and how we deal with it, you know, both mother and daughter are dealing with this thing together. So that might be something that you guys can look out for. It's going to be called a Loopy Podcast, LUPI Loopy Podcast. So, you know, if we get off the ground, I'll definitely tag you in it, let you hear it, you know.
Yeah,
so that's what you want to do.
You know, I look, I'm so excited for y'all. I love when people enter into the social media space. This is a great space to be in. Definitely keep me up to date. I would love to come over there and give y'all old nasty exclusive kiki with y'all. And yeah, I would love to share it out and support it. So just keep me, you know, up to speed on it and everything.
I will. Thank you so much, Consciouz. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Consciouz, for having me. And I'll see you guys later.
Okay, boo. That was Miss Johnson. Okay, she was a re-entry case manager for the third suspect when he had just gotten off of parole. He was assigned to her, and she was assigned to pretty much assist him with the things that could be helpful in him realigning back into society, whether that be mental health services, whether that be getting a job, housing, etc. They do it all. And she expressed that he never really took advantage of any of these services that, you know, were rendered to him. And he had kind of dropped off the radar after expressing a lot of excitement about, you know, having a second chance. He had a starter business regarding a recycling company that he wanted to, you know, give some leverage to, etc. And then before you know it, you know, she's closing out his case and nobody has heard from him. Nobody has seen him. And then kaboom, he's in the news for this robbery. And then kaboom, you know, he's no longer here. All right. So, you know, her experience with Mr. Leggette was, you know, he was a very charming, happy man, very intelligent, which just leaves more questions than answers. You know, what caused Mr. Leggette to spiral? You know, I know that when you've been living your life a certain way, unfortunately, you know, some habits die very, very, very hard. Oftentimes, felons are and criminals are repeat offenders, etc. And I just hate this for all of them. The one thing I will agree with Bishop Whitehead on is that it is unfortunate that the lives of 3 Black men, you know, had to be claimed this way. You know, you have these young guys who are, you know, in their late 20s who are now having to be integrated into the criminal justice system, be separated from the potential of their lives. And then you have one man who's no longer here, girl. This is just wild as hell. And then you have the person who they rob, who is going to be fighting for his life next month for robbing other people, allegedly. I mean, once again, this is just a very, very bizarre set of circumstances, girl. Like, it's just really weird. Really, really, really weird. You know, it's you can't even feel sorry for Whitehead because Whitehead got charges he's facing, you know, for strong-arming people, intimidating people, blackmailing people allegedly, you know, out of their coin, defrauding the damn banking system, girl. Why are you at the hotel, girl? Like, why are you talking to neighbors? You're not an investigator. Shouldn't you be somewhere with Bryant, Disbard, you know, L. Ponder, getting prepared for trial? Like, I feel like I'm in a Twilight Zone every time that, you know, dealing with Whitehead. Tarsha says, him smiling at the crime scene is sad. Yeah, because we all know that deep down, the man is getting off. He really feels truly vindicated. He needs to be a victim these days because, girl, he gonna need all the positive publicity he can get, considering that he's about to be thrusted back into the algorithm during this OJ level trial that his ass, you know, is about to have to endure. What's going on, those eyes? Happy Sunday, boo. Hey, the real Brant says for him to go the next day is meddling. The man wants to be somebody so bad. Everyone is scamming and robbing across the board, girl. And the way that this economy is set up, honey, it's going to be a lot of Joannes. Joannes, girl. Joannes the scammers, honey. Okay? The way this economy is set up, honey. Woo, child. It's about to be a lot of damn indictments coming down the pipeline. So that was Miss Johnson. I want to thank her for coming through. You guys, we'll be coming back around 3:30-ish, honey. We're going to get into some Nicki Minaj tea, honey. Okay, dish records are dropping. We got a lot going on, a lot to get into, honey. So I'm going to create the thumbnail, the watch page, and everything. Make sure you guys have your reminder set. Monique's World says, or maybe he should be figuring out where he's going to live since his house went through for... Well, you know, maybe that's all. Maybe it was a double entendre. Maybe he was there to be a clout chaser, and then he was there to scope out his next home. You know, seeing what discounts Red Roof Inn offered, girl. You know, seeing what the carpet gave. You know, seeing that there was enough closet space for those. You know, City Trend Fashion for Less as homemade suits he be wearing, girl. You know, maybe he was on, you know, maybe it was a bit of a house tour with him being there. You know, speaking of that, Monique, so, you know, it might have been a double agenda, you know, for him to pull up, child. All right. So I'm gonna get out of here. You guys, thumbs up. Replay gang, what's going on? Show a nigga some love on Miss Cash App and PayPal. All information is in the description box below. I will see you guys in about 2 hours. Bye.